So what did we learn in our previous session?
I'm poor student, okay? Don't ask me for a homework.
Nikhil, you didn't post the video, so I mean, I don't know what was homework, you know.
Find the elements. I remember, but just now I finished my work, eating everything. Only weekends I can do.
Yesterday I was a little busy, so I was unable to upload the video. I'll upload today.
It's okay.
Save the notes immediately. That will be helpful.
Yeah, notes I think also I uploaded until arrays, conditional statements I'll upload today after completion of this. Okay. So yesterday we have learned.
Nicole, you didn't start it, right? Nicole, you didn't start recording, right?
Sorry.
You did. Okay. Can you stop recording 1 minute?
Recording. Stop or start?
Stop. 1 minute.
Okay. All right. So we have learned about multidimensional arrays, and then I also gave some tasks to you. So have you tried to do this task?
No, Nikhil.
You have to. If we keep postponing these things, later you will feel all of a sudden all burden, and then you'll forget everything. You would be able to complete the task. Try to achieve this on the same day.
Bad student, Sharaf.
No, nothing like that. Sometimes it will happen, but just start practicing. Okay, because if you keep backlogs, it will be backlog. You'll never be completing it. If further, we'll be having more tasks and more things to practice, so you'll forget this. And after some point of time, you'll feel that this is not needed, and you'll not able to write code. So, do like that. Okay, just keep practicing so that you'll be able to do it. This doesn't take much time. It will take around 15 minutes for you. Okay, you'll be able to do it. Then we have learned about the conditional statements with the 3 different examples. We have learned about the scanner class, how to read the values from the console. Right? Scanner class, we have used it twice. And then simple if else, and then if else if conditions. Right? We have learned these things. Now, we have another statement in conditional statements, that is switch case. I think you have the same in SQL as well, right? Switch case statements.
Yeah, case when we do have case when.
Yeah, same thing here we have, which is cases. Creating a new class for that.
Nikhil, do you pay for Snagit?
Yeah, no, that Snagit is my office tool.
Oh, okay.
Snagit is a paid one.
Yeah, paid service.
Yeah,
We also have
pay for it.
we also have free statements, free version. You can also use that free version. All right. Here we have it. So, since you already know what is case statements, so when do we go for case statements?
For some condition, when it is true or false something, when we want to do some execution for the condition. Case when 35 is passed, then yeah.
What is the difference between if else and switch case? That's what I'm trying.
If it is iterable, it's a loop one.
No, it is not going to loop. Both are conditional statements only. Both works on conditions if true or false. But there is a difference between if else conditions and switch case statements. It's okay if you don't know. I'll anyway explain now. Okay. Right. So in Java, suppose we use switch case statements when we have more than 3 or 4 conditions. If you have more than 3 or 4 conditions, we use switch case. Up to 2 to 3 conditions, it's okay for us to go with if else statements. But if we are having more than 3 or 4 conditions, we go with switch case statements. Why? Why should we go with switch case statements? Once I write the code, I'll show you. Okay. I'll debug the code, and while running, I'll show you what is the difference between if else and switch case. Okay. So now the example to use switch case is get the month name based on number. Okay, based on the number, it should give us the month name. Okay, so that's like this. Switch case expression. So I'm using this switch case statement. Okay. So here is the value that we are going to give. So month number is the input, right? So I'm going to say int month number is equal to some number 4 or 5 or something. Okay. And then my key would be month number where my number is stored. Okay. Then I have 12 months. Case 1. Case 1, I'll say month name. I'll create another variable here. String month name. Okay. I'm creating a variable and I'm going to assign a value to those month name. What is month name? It is 1. Right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now I have. You cannot have duplicate cases, so that is why it is showing these errors. You see, duplicate case. So this case value should be different every time. So for case 2, February. For number 3, okay. Okay, these are the 12 cases. March, April,
If you are talking, Nikhil, we couldn't hear you.
No, I'm not talking. I'm just setting up the code. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right. So I have done the setup of the code. I've created a switch case which is taking the input as a number. So what is that number? It's the month number. And based on the number that we give, we are going to display the name of that month. Okay. So to display the name, I have to store it in a variable. So I created a month name variable and stored a value inside that variable. And now I'm going to print it at the end. Okay. 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 All right. And now let me run this. So what is the month number we gave? Okay, let us take this from user. Instead of hard coding it, let us take this from the user. We know, right, how to take the values from user?
Scanner class.
Yeah, we have to use scanner class. Please get the number, get name. Then scanner view, scanner of system dot in. Then c dot next int. We have to get it as int. Okay. So this next int I'll directly store on this number. So okay, now let us run it. Okay, it is asking us to enter the number. I am giving 3 and then press enter. See, month name for 3 is March. Okay, let me run it again. I'll give this time 4. April, fine. Again, this time I will give 6. But what is it giving? Is the 6th month November?
No.
So can you see the code and tell me where is the issue? Why is it coming as November? Can you guess?
There is no break. That's why.
Exactly, there is no break. So case statements will be ended with the help of break. So now when I entered case 6, this is 6, right? When I enter the number 6, it is going to case 6. It is going to assign June to month name and then there is no break. So it will assume that the next statements also belongs to the same case. So it will assign July to month name again, August to month name again, September to month name, October to month name, and November to month name. At the end, this month name variable has November, and then there is a break statement here. So that is why this is coming out of this case. So it kept on assigning the values to month name until here. You understood? So with this experiment, we came to know that break is mandatory for us to have or to separate or to end the cases. Is that clear? So intentionally I removed this for these 5 months just to show you this example. Okay. Now let me run this. Now you won't see that kind of issues. Again, it is asking the number. So I'll give 6. Okay. Is it giving the correct value? True. Because we added a break statement here. Without the break statement, your Java compiler will understand that until the switch case, until it sees a break keyword, it assumes that all the statements before the break statement are belonging to the same case. Okay, so for each statement, we should mandatorily have a break. Clear? And the last one, this default case is not mandatory. This is not mandatory. Even without the default case, you can have it. But you see, month name, this I declared here, but with an empty value. So let's say initially, I'm having some invalid month value. Okay. But what happens here is, if I give any case, which is 13, 14, or -1, -2, this is not going to print anything. It is not going to take any action because there is nothing. We are not telling what to do if we give any value which is other than 1 to 12. Like in conditional statements, we give this normal else, right? If this is not this, it is not matching this condition, or it is not matching this condition, by default it should go into this, right? If both the conditions are not matching, it will enter into this else block here. And here also, if it is not matching, if whatever might be the other value, if it is not matching this, it enters into the else. So similarly, in switch case, if these cases are not working, or whatever the value you give out of these cases, I mean not between 1 to 12, then it will enter into this default. Okay, is that clear? You are already aware of this basics of switch case, right? Correct. So earlier, until now, we are using Java version 15 or 16 in your machines. But earlier, until Java version 7, so until Java version 7, switch case will be allowed to use only numerics. You can have only numerics, case 1, case 2, case only numbers. So based on the numbers, you can work, you can take some actions. But from Java version 7, this case statement is also able to access or able to use strings. Okay, so for suppose create main method. So this is another example based on month name. Give me month. Oh no, okay, I don't want month example now. Based on the day number, day name, give the number of the day in a week. Sunday 0, Saturday 6. Okay, so Sunday starts with 0, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, like that. Okay, starting from Sunday till Saturday. Now let us see that example. Switch. So here I'll say let's string weekday name is equals to, I'll give, okay, pass this weekday name, switch. And here I can have this Sunday then let's say number is 0. Okay, we need a break. Then I'm going to add multiple. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, and then we already have a default. This will be 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay. I'm not sure whether in SQL also does the switch case accept strings as inputs or strings as the cases. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
So does the switch case statement accept strings in SQL? I'm not sure about it.
No.
Okay. So here also in Java also it was not there prior to version 7, but from version 7 of Java, switch case is going to accept string cases. So that is why I'm able to pass strings as the case name, and then I'm able to perform any operation that I want. Okay. So now let us run this. By default, I gave the weekday as Thursday. Okay. I'm not taking any input for that. This is the previous one. Now you see weekday number is 4 for Thursday, right? If Sunday is 0, then Thursday is 4. Right? Let me change this to Saturday. Let us run it. See, weekday number is 6 for Saturday. So in Java, switch case also accepts strings as cases. We are able to do this, right? Your voice is breaking. If there is some question. Is there any question, Bobby?
No, no.
Your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking. I don't know what's the problem with this Wi-Fi. Every day morning it's just give me a second. I'm trying to change my network to mobile network. Okay, are you able to hear me now clearly, or is it still breaking?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Thank you. So in Java, from version 7, switch case is also accepting string statements as cases. Okay. So we saw that example as well. And we can suppose if we have to perform the same thing uh, for multiple cases. For example, seasons. Based on month name, print the season. Okay. So you know the season, right? For 3 months we have the same season. Jan to March we have spring. And from March till June we have summer. I mean, in India you might have different seasons there.
Yeah, now we have a spring here.
Yeah, it's summer here. So like that we have different seasons for 3 months, right? Spring, summer, rainy, and winter. We have 3 months. The same season will be there. Even if I give April, May, or June, it should print spring for you, right? So for the 3 different month names, it should give me the same spring, same season name based on month number. I don't want based on, yeah, anything is on month number or name. So now here for 3 cases, it should do the same activity. How can we achieve it? We already saw the example when we are discussing this. Let me show you that. Switch case explanation. Switch case statement. Here I'm going to take my name again.
Oh, what did you do? Switch control space again?
Yeah, type switch control space. We have 4 different things: labeled expression, labeled statement, case statement. For now, we are seeing this case statement. Okay. Recently, they added one more thing called switch case expression, where we are not going to use the break, but we are going to use yield, which is almost equivalent to break. Okay. Just a change in the switch case value, how we are going to use it. This is enough for us. Okay. So here again, I am going to pass month name string. Month name is equals to some month, whatever the month we want to give it here. I'll say August. Already there on the name for season. Okay, this is my key here. All right. So first, Jan, Feb, March. So what is the season for you there? Jan, Feb, and March. Is it summer?
Spring.
Hey, come on. Winter, January, February, March, winter. March 21st onwards, spring.
Okay. This is one case, January, February, March. You see, I gave 3 statements or 3 cases in the same case. Similarly, I can have this for all the 1, 2, 3, and 4 March. Now I have April, May, and June. This is spring for you, right?
Correct.
July, August, September. This will be summer for you.
No, July, August. Yeah, September will
Yeah,
be
summer.
fall. September.
September
It's okay.
to
Okay, 1 month here and there.
Okay, yeah, okay. June 21st summer start. We are in bit.
December is for winter. Sorry, winter. Rain. Okay. Now we have these cases. If I give any of the case from Jan, Feb, and March, it will print winter. April, May, and June, spring. July, August, and September, it will print summer. Whatever the case I give. Okay, now I hard coded the value of month name as August. Let us see. This is the old one. Let's ignore. What is the season for August? Summer. You see, for August, summer. Okay. Now let me change this to March. March is winter. Right. So is it taking multiple cases in a single case? If you want to perform the same action, whether I give January or February or March, I should print the same thing. That is, it is winter. So I can combine multiple cases into a single case by comma separated values. Is that clear? You can combine multiple cases into a single case. Is that clear?
yes.
Okay. All right. So this is all about switch case basics. Now let us see the other things. If I press this, one is having yield type. This is the latest one. This is having since long Java, since Java version 1, we are having the switch case statement with case and break. Labeled, this is not needed for us. Lambda expressions kind of things we are using instead of semicolon, and then we are directly assigning or doing some operations here. But better not go into till there. Its labeled statement is again same. Okay. So let us see about this expression, about this yield and type. So why is this? Why we are having this expression is this case. See, now we are giving directly Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but this switch case will also be able to take expressions as input. Okay, so suppose I can say,
Nikhil, I have one question. So if you want to run the only the second block, can you run it instead of running the whole block?
this one.
Like for example, no, you gave first one example, right, for the days, and
Okay.
now you number and then days, now month. But
Yeah.
I want to run only this block,
Second one.
not the
this
other.
one.
Yeah.
No, we cannot run because everything is in the same class and everything is in the same main method, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for now we cannot do that. Every time we add a new example, all the previous examples will be executed for now. But later, if you want to execute only particular things, we can create methods and call those methods. Whatever methods are needed, we can call them. Okay, or this is not exactly the solution, but if you want to, if you don't want to get these things executed, then just comment these things. That's all. If you comment this, those won't be executed. Okay.
Control shift backslash, right? Something.
No, no need to press shift, control and forward slash. That's enough. Because if you press control shift backslash, everything will become clumsy. Everything will come into a single line.
Oh, okay. Control
Okay.
backslash. Okay.
Control forward slash. If you press control shift forward slash, you see everything made as a paragraph, right? Now, even if I uncomment this, that won't go. That still likes a paragraph, right?
Oh,
That's the reason.
so control forward slash.
Yeah. Control forward slash will retain the format, but just comment them. All right. So here I'm having some, expression here. If true, you see, cannot switch on a value of type boolean. Only convertible int values, strings or enum variables are permitted. So this is going to take only strings or integers. It is not going to take, or it is not going to calculate the expressions, or it is not going to get the boolean values. Or suppose 1 plus 2. Okay. So case is 3. If this expression, these calculations can be done by switch statement. It is going to perform this 1 plus 2 statement, and then it is going to print if case 3. 1 plus 2 is 3 only, right? If case 3, then it can print. So, for example, I'm just writing normal case statement and see, let us see whether it's working or not. Okay. See, value is 3, it is printing because it is able to calculate these values. Suppose if I give 2 plus 2, what is the case? 4. But do I have case 4? I have only case 3. Let me see again.
Where did that yield type go? When you selected that yield type showed up, right?
Yield type, I'll go there. I'll go there yield type, but for now the example is expressions in switch. Okay.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I'll add that yield type again. I'll show you that also. No associated keys. Okay. It's with expressions. Okay. 2 plus 2 is 4. That's fine. What is it saying? No associated case. Right? Because 2 plus 2 is 4. Case 4 is not available here. So that is why it is saying no associated case. You can also use these expressions here. Okay. So you can give numbers as cases. You can give strings as cases. You can have multiple case statements in a single case. You can also add expressions to switch. Okay. Now let us see the example of yield. I haven't used this yield type. So let us go to case Oracle. So I'm directly going into the Oracle documentation where who's maintaining or who is creating Java language. So I am going into their documentation, and then I'm seeing what is the switch expressions. You see case LN labels if you want to use. So these are multiple cases without breaks. So I used the comma separated values, right? Here, case, comma separated cases. We can also use like this without breaks. Monday, Friday, and Sunday. This. So this is also another way. Without break means it is going to assume that for all these 3 cases, this is the value, right? For Monday, there is no break, so it is going to assume that all these are under Monday only. Same thing. Okay. And where is that? Yeah, this is to label. Instead of creating another variable and then equals to and then 6 and then break, if you are using, you can also use like this. It's just shortening the way that we use. But let's not go into that deep for now. Let's ignore this. Just follow what we have until we get some idea. Then we can do that. Okay. You see here. yield. Okay, let us take the same example. I'm copying this example code. Using yield. Okay. I don't want this day. Just create a date string. Date is equals to okay. Okay, and in all these cases, I'm changing the day object to string object because we are not done with the days or other usage of other classes. So I'm just converting these to strings. Don't worry, all will be same. So what we are doing here is we are counting the number of letters in each weekday and then returning that. So to return this, see for Monday, Friday and Sunday, we have 6 letters in this day, right? That is why I am printing a number 6 and then I am returning this 6. Just I am returning this value 6. Okay. Then for Tuesday we have 7 letters, so I am returning 7. For Thursday and Saturday there are 8 letters, so I am returning 8. For Wednesday I am having 9 letters, so I am returning 9. If I give any other day than these days, I am saying invalid day. And then at the end, I am printing the number of letters. Because you observe, just observe the above switch case and this switch case. Is this switch returning anything, or did we store the value of this switch case inside any variable? For this, or here, or here, did we store did we create any variable and store the switch case value inside it?
No, directly we give.
Because whatever the action we want, we are doing it inside the case, either by using SISO statement or by assigning to some variable, and then at the end we are using the SISO statement, right? We did by we assigned a value to some variables, or we directly printed the values, or we have combined and then used the SISO statements. But are we returning anything out of this switch case statement? No, we are not returning to the outside world. Whatever is there inside this, the scope is only inside this block. Outside this, we won't be able to see it, right? So, but here, with the help of this switch case expressions, if you want to return something out of this switch case, you can return with the help of the yield keyword. This is very recently introduced into Java. Earlier it was not there, but very recently, I think from Java 11 or 12, I don't remember the exact version, but this was introduced very recently. Okay, so yield is going to return some value from this switch case. So that is why whatever it is returning, we are capturing it. You see here, int number of letters. So that is why I am returning an integer value from this switch case, and I'm capturing it in integer variable. And one more syntactical differences you can observe is, for this switch case at the end, this is the end of the switch case, right? This block, is there any semicolon here? No. But you see here, if you are returning something, if you are using this yield, this switch case, I mean, we should be able to tell Java that this is all a single statement. So that is why we are having a semicolon here. So there is no difference inside this switch case. All the cases, all the conditions, whatever, however you want to write, you can write. For suppose here only, instead of writing like this, I can also write like this. See, Monday, Friday. This is also correct. Nothing wrong, right? Comma separated cases. We can have comma separated cases. We have seen the example. For all these three, it is going to return 6. For this, it is going to return 7. For these two, it is going to return 8. For this, it is going to return 9. When it is returning, I have to capture somewhere. So I have created a variable and assigned that value to this variable. And then at the end, I am printing it. Understood? So yield is just to return the value out of the switch case. That's all. Is that clear?
So to select this yield, you did switch control space on the first statement. How did
Yeah,
select that?
no, for now, this one I have copied from the example which I have here from the documentation. Okay, this is from the documentation.
Because if I did the control space, the yield is coming in a block.
Yeah, that will be coming. Okay, just type switch control space. You see this switch case expression. You see 4 switches, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Control space. Type, and then inside that you see the explanation, that switch case expression. If you select this expression, you will see yield type. Okay.
In this case, so I have to put yield 6 inside the block for this syntax. I'm asking.
Yeah.
This is stored.
Yield 6, and then this should be stored somewhere. So I have to create int.
Yeah, that I understood. The case value you have to give Monday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And inside the block, what is the difference between writing inside the block and there? Just the case.
This is inside the block only, right?
No, the previous one.
This one?
Yeah, that is not separate. Yield is not in a separate block, right? Whereas here yield is in a block inside the block.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, we can.
Oh, does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Case value for suppose something. Then I'm giving this key. Then it is going to yield this 6. Assignment operator after explain. After this. See, now it's gone. Key, I'll say something. That's it. Now you see all the errors gone. Right? This is important, and this is important. Once you add those things, everything will be set. Clear? So we have to convert anyway. If you take this syntax and then let me do it again. Switch case expression. Now I need a key. So I am going to create a string variable key or anything. String key equals to some empty key. Okay, now the variable is there. Now since we are using yield, I have to catch the result. So I'm storing something int result is equals to, and then this whole switch case should be a single block. So I'm adding this. And then here value is something, and then yield I'll say. Okay, I cannot return this dummy because I'm catching integer. I should not return a string, right? So I'll say what? Or all the errors gone now. Right. So we gave a basic syntax, and we have to add all the things that we need. Understood? This was your doubt, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
So you can also have this as a block, or you can also remove this. Not a problem. See, here also you can add a block. Okay, no problem.
That's so that print comment should I give inside the block, inside the yield block, or outside only? I have to give outside.
If you want to print something when you enter into this case, then you can have this ISO statement. If you don't want to print anything, there is no need to have this ISO statement.
Okay, that printing is for case.
Exactly. that printing is same. In this case only we have the yield.
Okay, can you run this again? I didn't see the output properly.
I will just comment out this over, or I'll just remove it. It's not needed for us. We don't write any exam. Okay, I'm running it.
So instead of break, we are using yield.
Yeah. Instead of break, we are using yield. Okay, you see there are 2 6s because I gave Monday. One is printed with this ISO statement, other is printed with this. Okay, I'll write some extra ISO statement. Yield started. Okay, then value after from switch. Then, right? So let me run this. You'll see it. You see, yield example started, and then we have a 6 because it entered into that case. It printed CISO statement. CISO we have a 6, so it is printing 6. And then value after this value, you are returning yield 6. So this is returning this value into num letters variable. Now I'm
Can you
printing that
give
num
different?
letters.
Can you give different number?
Yeah.
Give 8 in the print and yeah.
You can.
No, just to differentiate. Yeah.
Okay. You understood? Since this is appropriate to have 6 because the number of letters are 6, it was 6 here. Clear? Any questions in this? No questions, then we are done with this switch case. We can go with the next topic. Shut up or Angie. You have any questions on this?
No.
All clear, right? Or is it confusing or you didn't understand something?
But if I try after the semicolon, if I try to do the syswo out, it is giving that again that void statement. It's not giving me the print statement.
Okay, let's see after this session, last 15 minutes, okay?
Sure, yeah.
All right. For now, do we that one you are asking probably those are simple, might be syntactical, or you might have missed some of the braces. So that is why it is giving those errors. We can solve it in the end. Okay. But for now, do you have any questions in this topic? Like having switch cases with numbers,
No.
switch case with strings, having multiple cases at multiple cases in a single case, and then expressions, and then yield. We have learned all these things. Okay, just observe this one. We'll discuss about this when we are discussing about exception handling or exceptions. So just remember this: throw, new, and then this exception. Okay, we'll see that later. All right. So we have learned about all these switch case things, and we don't need about these labels. You can ignore it. Okay. Using these braces or using this arrow marks. Once you are familiar with the switch cases, you write 2 to 3 examples, then you can start using this syntax. This is another way of using switch case, that's all. We used a colon and then wrote whatever we want, right? After the cases mentioned, I used a colon and I wrote my block of statements. But here in this type, you have to use this arrow instead of colon and then directly write it. And you don't have to write break or yield here. Say directly. For these cases, it will be direct. There is no need to write break or yield. That's all. That's pretty simple. Okay.
That
If
is
you have Yeah, if you have multiple statements in the same block, then you can use this block statement and then write these statements. And then you can also yield if you want. Okay. All right. So this is all about switch case. Let us go into the next topic. Let me see if I missed. Okay. Some silly points or some small points that we have. That is, you cannot have any other statements in between the switch case. You see, it will throw an error. See, this is one case and this is another case. In between the cases, if I try to add a statement, you see it is throwing an error, unreachable code. This will never be reached. Here it is saying unreachable because yield is returning it. Let me show you in a normal example. This is a normal example after a break. So, test. So here also, what is it saying? Reachable code. Why? Because in switch cases, this Java will understand only case statements. So I said, okay, my case is completed here, and then new case is starting from here. Then will it ever be understanding or will it ever be reading in between the cases? No, because Java is going to read only through cases. So in between the cases, it is not going to read. So you cannot have any statements in between the cases. In the case you can have until this is inside the case. But in between cases, we cannot have any statements. Okay. That is one. And one more thing, I told you, I promised you that I'll show you the difference between if else and switch case. We know that these two are used for conditional statements, but what is the difference between switch case and if else? Okay, let's go back to the if else condition statements and then see where did we write multiple conditions. Okay, we have this if, else if, and else. Now let me execute this, or let me have a breakpoint here and then debug this to show you line by line. Okay. Now, what is the value? -12, which is not in, okay, right. Exactly what is, whatever we need is there. So I added a breakpoint here at 45. You see a small dot. You're able to see it, right? Small dot at line 45.
Yeah. How did you do that? Breakpoint?
Just clicking here, that's it.
Okay.
Click here, it will add a breakpoint. If you double click here, it will remove the breakpoint. Okay. I'm adding, by double clicking, I'm adding a breakpoint. You can have any number of breakpoints. Just double click on this blue color line or before the line number.
What do you mean by breakpoint here?
That is what I'm going to show you. So breakpoint is used for debugging. If you want to do line by line, if I press run, it is completely executing and then showing us the result, right? But sometimes the value might get altered in between, or there are some issues. Then we want to know what exactly is the issue. We want to find the root cause of that issue. And if you write, sometimes you write SQL queries, but they are not giving the results you want. So what you will do then?
We will debug it.
That is what here. So to debug the code, there you debug your SQL statements. Here we are debugging our Java statements. Okay. To go line by line, we use this breakpoint. So until this breakpoint, your code will run in a normal flow. But once it reaches this breakpoint, you can go line by line execution. You can see, you can watch the execution live on what line it is, what is it doing, what is the value currently we are having. So we can debug it. Okay. So to debug, you see this a lice icon here, an insect icon here. You can click on that or right click, and then below run as, you see the debug as with an icon. Just click on this Java. Now it will come till here 45. Okay. Yes. Please enter. Enjoy the exhibition. You entered the wrong pin, please check your pin and re-enter. Yes, because currently it came near the example and it is at the breakpoint. You see there is an arrow mark on this breakpoint. So it is asking, do you want to shift to debug perspective? Switch to this perspective. Yes. You see, the view will be changed. These are all the debug things. The class, you see a green color highlighter is there on line number 45. See it, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Nikhil.
So that means now we are at this line. Let us go to this okay, let me hide this. Okay, you see there are some icons over here. This is stop execution on the top. You are following my mouse pointer, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the icons. Okay. You see, this is for resuming the execution. This is for stopping the execution. This is to go into the method. If you have some method calling, if you want to go inside that method, you can use this. Or if you want to skip over that call, then you can use this. But for now, we have to go line by line. So I'm just clicking on this. See, it entered into that println method, right? I want to get out of this method. Now it came here. Okay. Now March 12. Now observe this. We are at line 48. Okay. Our value is -12. Is -12 matching with this? No, right? This condition doesn't match with 12 -12 value.
No.
Okay. Now let's go. What is it doing? It is checking another condition here. Is -12 matching with this 0 and 35? No, right? No. Then it will go to the default condition. So what is it doing? It is executing condition by condition. It is verifying all the conditions until it finds a matching condition. If there is no matching condition, it will go into the default else condition, right? Understood this flow?
Can you repeat again once, please?
Sure. Let's complete this. Okay. Debug. Okay, I'll write another example here for debugging. So
We understood just that icons we want to get used.
yeah. Example for debugging again. Something. Okay. If number is equals to 1. Okay. So 1. Okay. Else if number is greater than 1 and less than 10. Answer. Oh, sorry. Here it is not and. It's ampersand. And that we use in VB scripting. So I also work on VB scripting. So that is why I wrote literal and AND. Okay, but here in Java we have to use double ampersand. Okay, so let's say between 1 value is between 1 and something. Okay, else if number is greater than or equals to 10 and number is less than 25. I'm just writing some dummy conditions. Okay, value is between 10 and 25. Else if number is greater than or equals to 25, sorry, 25, and number is less than 100. Some dummy conditions just to explain. Okay, that is between 25 and 100. Okay, and then else. So given that is in the ranges. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't want to stop here. I want a breakpoint over here. Okay, now let's see. I'll give 85. Okay, let me run this, debug this. Okay, now the breakpoint is here at our line 57. Right. Now, here you see the icons. You can press F5 or F6 to execute, or you can also click on these icons. F5 will step into, you see when I hover over that icon, you see a text called step into, which means it is going to jump into that particular method. Inside that method also we will have the breakpoint, and line by line it will execute. I don't want to enter into the methods. I just want these statements to be executed. Then use this step over. Okay, step into is to go inside the methods. Step over will just execute that method and get the result for us. Right? Is that clear, Bobby? Now?
Yeah.
Now let us run this line by line. Number is equals to 1. Okay, is our number 1? No, that condition is not matching. So it will not enter into the if. It will check other condition. Is our number between 1 and 10? No. Is our number between 10 and 25? No. Is our number between 25 and 100? Yes. So it will enter into this case. It will print it and then it will end the execution. So what happened here? It is checking each condition until it finds the matching condition, right? Understood?
Oh, so when you debug, it will find the matching condition. So that's the point, right?
Even if we are running, when we are running, it will find the matching condition. But just
Uh-huh.
to make you understand the flow, I'm showing that. You see that, right? Where it is going, line by line. When we have this green color line, you are observing it, right?
Yeah.
You observe this. Currently, our execution is at this point. When I said step into, okay, it went here. It is checking the condition. I mean, we are just seeing what Java compiler is doing with the help of debugging. Okay, it went here. It is checking the condition. So it's not matching the condition is not matching. You see, number is equals to 85, but it is not equals to 1. What is it doing? It is checking another condition. Is our number
This
in
will
between
be
this
useful
range?
when we can find the mistake where we did
Exactly.
where the code is breaking.
Exactly. But
Got it,
now
got it.
I'm using this debugging for a different purpose to show you the flow of execution for if else.
Mm.
It went here, the condition is not matching. It went into this, it is not matching. Then it went into this. Here also the condition is not matching. Then it went into this. Here the condition is matching. So it is going to execute these statements, right? You see, till here it is not executing these statements.
Mm.
But when it is matching, it is executing the statements inside that condition. That is one
Oh.
point. And second point is, until it finds a matching condition, it is verifying all the conditions, right? It checked with this condition, it checked with this condition, it checked with this, and it checked with this. So
Okay.
to get into this value, it has done 4 verifications, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Agree?
Yeah.
4th time, it got the matching condition. So it is executing this line of statements in if else condition. Okay. Now let us go
Oh,
back
okay.
to switch case. Okay. Now let us have a breakpoint over here. I'm having breakpoint on the month number. Okay. So these are all different cases, different conditions, right? Right? So now let us debug this. Okay, here on this line, on the console, it is asking for the month number. Suppose I'll give 10 and then press enter. Now it is on debug mode. Now we have to go into that. I entered 10 because the month number value you see 10. Okay. Now let's see whether it is checking case 1, 2, 3, 4 until it finds the matching case, or it is directly jumping into case 10. Where did it go? The line of execution is at case 10, right? Directly. Is it verifying these cases? Is it going line by line, or is it directly jumping to that particular case?
Directly jumping to the particular case.
So you understood the difference between if else and switch case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if else, it is going to verify all the conditional statements until it finds the matching condition. If it is not matching, it will go into the else. But in switch case, it is not going to verify with all the other cases. It is directly jumping into that case.
It's
So
like
here-
an on and off switch.
Yeah, it's directly jumping into that case. But here, you see, if I have 10 conditions here, suppose I wrote the same block, same what do you say, same functionality using if else conditions. I can write that. Right? If month number is 1, then month name is Jan. I can write. If month number is equals to 1, see, so month name is equals to Jan. I can write that, right? If I'm writing like that, what will happen? It will verify 10 conditions and then print this. You understood my point?
Yeah.
But if I write switch case, what is it doing? It is not verifying anything. It is directly jumping into that case. So we are avoiding unnecessary verifications,
Correct.
right? So we are, if you are avoiding unnecessary verifications, we are reducing the burden on your compiler, and we are increasing the speed of execution,
Correct.
right? So that is the difference between if else and switch case. If we have only 1 or 2 statements, 1 or 2 conditions, then we use if else. But if you are having more than 3 or 4 cases, 3 or 4 conditional things that we have to perform, then it's better to go with switch case. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought of starting another topic, but it took a little more time to make you understand about these differences and debugging as well. So it's already 8:20. Do you have any questions, or do you have something to discuss on these topics until today?
Can I
Nikhil?
quickly share?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
sure.
If there are no
Uh,
questions, then we will go to your screen and share. Okay.
Can we use switch case like for less than like 3 condition?
Yeah, you can. It's not a problem. You can use it even if with one case. It's not a problem. But where we'll see benefit. The benefit is when we have more cases. The benefit is where we have more conditional statements. But if you can use it for this also. It's not a problem. But the benefit you will see is when you have more cases, it will directly jumping into that particular case instead of verifying a case by case. There is no restriction that you should not use for less than 3 conditions. You can have it, no problem. I think I wrote right one. You see here, I have only 1 case. Still, it's working.
Yeah. In that case, I
Right.
can use if to directly.
Yeah, in this case, you can also use if.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions?
Nikhil, I'll quickly share a second from my screen.
Yeah. Give me a second, I'm not seeing the options. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
Now you can share. Can you share now? And your screen just popped up. Okay, what is the issue here?
On mute.
No, it's yeah, it's not the issue with the code that you wrote, but you just observe at line 25. So what did you do? So how many braces did you open from the beginning? You see, you opened a brace for class, you opened a brace for method, but how many you closed? The bottom, there should be two, right? One for method and one for class. Now add a brace. Gone. Now you can run it. You got it right, Bobby? You're on mute, I think. We are unable to hear you, but we are able to see your screen.
So where do I debug here?
I mean, debug what?
What is this? What is this? I try to debug. What is this one?
No, that is comment. You see that this is comment right here. To do by default generated, so it is just showing us that icon by default when you created a main method. So this to do is there.
How do I debug? I try to
Yeah.
click here.
Just double click on it.
Double click. Okay.
Got a
Okay.
breakpoint?
Breakpoint. This is a breakpoint.
Yeah, that is breakpoint.
Okay. Now I don't
Click on
see any other.
Bug icon.
Only one.
See it? No, there is a bug icon, right? To your right. Yeah. No, you crossed it. Yeah,
Oh.
that's a
Okay.
bug, right? Yeah,
Okay.
just click on it. That's it. Allow access. For the first time, we'll see this. And then switch. Okay.
Okay.
See, now it is at line 15. No, don't do
Yeah.
that. Line 15. Now you see there are resume, stop icons on the left, top left. Yeah, that is resume. That is
Oh,
stop.
got it.
Yeah, those are step into and step over. Now, if you press step over, it directly came in, out. But if you press step into, it should have gone into println method.
Oh, how do I go back? No.
No, the execution is completed. We cannot go back. We have to debug again.
Oh, okay.
You see, press.
Yeah, it is looking step by step now.
Yeah. So now it is in println. If you click step into, it will go into the println method. You see, this is not our method, right? We wrote there is a println method which is given by Java. This is the method. Okay. Now, if you want to come out, or if you want to see this also line by line, you can go a step into. Or if you want to come out, you see the third icon, third one. After. Yeah, that will return from this statement. Yeah, that will return from that method. See?
Okay. How do I debug? How do I undo that? I don't want to do that debug. How do you do that?
You can double click on this breakpoint. It will remove these breakpoints. Breakpoints. You see 17 and 15.
Okay, got it.
That's all. So from next time onwards, it won't stop even if you debug. Okay. If you want to continue your execution, you don't want to go line by line. If you want to continue, you see there is a resume icon on the top. Resume in the beginning. Before that, after that, in between, play icon. Yeah.
Okay. Play. Okay.
Yeah, that will complete the next steps.
Okay.
Okay. Or if you want, if you don't want to debug, then you can terminate also. It depends on your need. If you don't want to continue debugging, you can terminate. If you want to continue the execution flow, you can use resume. If you want to go line by line, step into or step over or return.
Okay. So if I save this, this will save as a one file in my folder, correct?
Yeah, it is already saved.
It's auto save.
Yeah, it is already saved. Before execution, it will throw us, it will show us a pop-up. If you say okay, then it will save.
Okay. Thank you.
Any
Where
questions,
is-
Sarah or Yanji?
where is
No.
the Zoom?
Okay, okay. So then, let's wind up for today. Tomorrow we'll see another control flow statements, that is iteration statements. So we'll see iteration statements tomorrow. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Have a good day. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.